Well, hello. Welcome to the Cypress College Campus Podcast. My name is Scott Thayer, the president of Cypress College and your host. This podcast shares the stories of our colleagues, students, alumni, and advocates. On today's show, I interview Associated Students President Arjun Ayyappan.
Hi, nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you, Arjun. Arjun's a political science major and is graduating this month, and recently was selected for participation in a very prestigious program, the Stanford Law Scholars Institute. Congratulations, Arjun.
Thank you so much. Very exciting indeed.
No, that's great. So, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for joining us for our inaugural podcast.
Of course.
So I just wanted to touch base with you a little bit and have some questions I'd like to ask.
Sure.
So why don't we start out
Go ahead.
By telling us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Arjun Ayyappan. I'm 19. I'm an Indian American, born and raised in Cerritos, California. The reason why I chose Cypress, I guess, I'll start off with that.
Uh-huh.
So out of high school, I was going to choose university, but due to a medical condition with my mom where she was hospitalized for 2 months, I decided it was prudent to stay close to home and save money. So I chose Cypress College, and thanks to the Charter Experience Promise program, I got 2 years of free tuition, which is great to have.
Yes.
And I also visited for Charter Friday, and I could tell how much everyone wanted to help students. And that's definitely one reason why I chose Cypress College, not Cerritos College, which was my hometown community college.
Well, that's great to hear.
So
you had a good experience with your first interaction here at Cypress.
Absolutely, yeah. And then since then, I can't complain about anything. Academics have been great. I have a 3.95 GPA. Unfortunately, I got 1 B, but
hey,
can't complain.
That's really good.
Right.
3.95. That's excellent. Actually.
Yeah, thank you. And then from there, I got involved on campus through clubs, actually. So I really wanted to start something that was pre-law related or political science related, but there weren't any clubs that were relating to pre-law on campus. So I decided to start the Cypress Law and Politics Club to kind of introduce political science and law to students of Cypress College, and show them what there is to offer for pre-law. And then from there, I got to meet Dave and Jay, who were the advisors of AS. And then I got to meet the AS president of last year, Jesse Chang, and then Ryan Ayers. He was the ICC chair at the time, the vice president of student organizations for AS. And those 4 were really very influential in my decision to join student government. So they convinced me to do so. So right before I joined student government, I wrote a resolution that was advocating for voter registration and civic engagement events on our community college campuses. So that's something that I passed even before I joined community college. Even before I joined student government, which is something I'm super proud of. And so after that experience, I realized that student government was where I should be. So student advocacy was something that I very much enjoyed. So I joined the student government as a senator. From there, I was elected president, thankfully. And since then, I've been doing a lot of work on, number 1, civic engagement on our campus. Number 2, basic needs. And also increasing transparency and soliciting more student feedback from our student body.
Wow, so you found a home here at Cypress.
Definitely.
No, it's great you ran into the student life staff and then also the leaders at the time. And so it kind of allowed you to interact and then continue to do the work. You mentioned you had a resolution prior to joining the Associated Students.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Yeah, so not many students, even in student government, write resolutions. So that's something that I was very proud of doing even before I was in student government because I didn't have too much guidance. But thanks to Dave and Jay from the student life student life area, they really helped me writing the resolution. And the resolution highlighted and outlined a spearheaded effort to actually have implementable solutions to civic engagement and voter registration. As we know, we have AB 963, which was already in the pipeline back then. Now, obviously, it's being put forth and implemented on our campuses for next year. So there's already stuff to kind of increase civic engagement and voter registration on our community college campuses. But I wanted to create actual implementable solutions, and that's not something that was included within the legislative document. So that's something that I did.
So your resolution, was it passed here locally at the college, or where was it presented?
Yeah, great question. I didn't include that. So it was passed with the Student Senate of California Community Colleges during their General Assembly 2023 in Long Beach. For some context, the General Assembly is a conference that all 114 community colleges and their student governments go to. So it was a great opportunity not only to network, but also you're able to pass a resolution.
Right.
So yeah, it was a great opportunity, great experience.
No, that is. I mean, you decide to dive in fully and engage. That's outstanding. I just want to really look at, touched on in the intro that you've been selected for the Stanford Law Scholars Institute.
Right.
So congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
That's a great accomplishment. How does that feel, one, and what are your thoughts heading into the program?
Yeah. Well, feeling wise, I remember once I submitted the application last year, I was actually pretty hopeful, but I wasn't that confident in my essays. So after a couple months, I got an email saying that I wasn't accepted to the program. So that was my first application cycle. Okay. This year, I think I did a much better job on my essays, and I had great recommenders who really supported me through the process, Professor Gloria Badal and Jay Shankweller from the Student Life Building. So they were definitely really influential figures in my acceptance. And then as for how it feels, it isn't just great because it's a great opportunity for me to explore law school and kind of have law school demystified, but it also helps me change the narrative of community college and access to opportunities.
Right.
A lot of students come into community college with the stigma surrounding community college that we're not as smart or we're not as motivated. But I think students that do things like this, where they have great accomplishments within academia, it helps students like those new community college students that are coming in who may not feel as confident in their abilities or their positions in life to feel confident and hopefully do something and be motivated to make something of their own, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. The fact that you persevered, or if at first you don't succeed, try again, right? So the first year you didn't get accepted, but you reapplied.
Yes.
And now you've been accepted. Right. And so my understanding is there's not a lot of community college students who are participating in this institute.
There is not. I am the first community college student that was accepted to the program in their history, which is something I'm very, very excited about. And like I mentioned, that's something that's definitely going to change the narrative about community colleges. And that kind of leads me into the next question. I think you mentioned, what are your thoughts heading into the program?
Yes,
A lot of thoughts. Well, first of all, obviously very positive because they are going to demystify the law school admissions process. And just to give you some more context on what the program's about, it's going to be a 1 to 2 week in-person program on the Stanford Law School campus. So I'll be living there, having a residential experience with 19 other scholars.
Right.
And then I'll have a mentorship and have law school admissions, essays, workshops with the Stanford Law School Dean of Admissions. And then on top of that, I'll be connected with a lifelong mentor. Which is going to be someone who's going to help me not only through law school, but hopefully after law school. Yeah. And the Stanford Law Scholars Institute isn't just a summer program. It's honestly, it really is a lifelong community. And that's what they really hammer into us. And they tell us, like, we're always going to be here for you, regardless of if it's this summer or next summer or and beyond, right? Yeah. But other than that, it's very nerve-wracking and overwhelming because, like I mentioned, I am the first community college student, and among the 19 other students, there are students from Yale, there are students from Columbia, there are students from big institutions that obviously are historically more represented in our legal field, right? So it's definitely going to be a little bit of a transition for me, especially because I'm also going to be living on a university campus. I'm a commuter going to Cypress College, so that'll also be a big change. And then being surrounded by very intellectual students is going to be also not a big change because we have those students here. It's more just like, how am I going to cope with either trying to fit in, or am I going to make my own kind of stance and make my own stance on the world, or whatever it's going to be. We'll figure it out. But like I said, it's nerve-wracking, but I'll get to know by this summer.
No, that's great. I think you if you continue doing what you're doing, you'll be just fine. You've shown great success here at Cypress. And, with that attitude of never giving up, it will be something definitely beneficial for you in the future.
Definitely.
So you mentioned the summer. What about the fall? What's happening? What's happening in the fall? So you're going to the Stanford Institute in the summer, and then you'll transfer in the fall.
That's correct.
And where will you be attending?
So, I know that's a big topic of a conversation, but as of right now, I don't know where I'm going yet.
Oh, okay.
Only because I do not have all my decisions out. And I'll probably know by next week, by the board meeting that we have next week. So hopefully we'll know by then. But as of right now, I was accepted to UC Berkeley, UCLA, UC San Diego, and UC Davis. Those are the 4 UC that I applied to. And something I'm more proud of is getting so much scholarship at UCLA and UC Berkeley.
All right.
About 80% at UCLA, at Berkeley, and about 70% at UCLA. So that's something that's kind of definitely helped me through my academic experience, because I've enjoyed 2 years of free college tuition now, right? But the cost of education and cost of attending college is just going to increase from here on out, whether it be in the next 2 years of university, finishing up my bachelor's in political science or public policy, depending on where I attend.
Right.
And then after, when I go to law school for another 3 years. So the cost of college is definitely going to increase from here on out, but having that scholarship for the 2 years that I'm there will definitely be very helpful. So as of right now, my top choice is Berkeley, UC Berkeley. Right. But we are still waiting on Stanford and Columbia, which will be coming out soon.
Coming soon?
Coming soon.
But, you got the UCs lined up.
Definitely.
And
I'm very, very happy. Yeah.
I mean, especially with scholarship dollars.
Absolutely,
That's really exciting. Thinking about, Cypress again, let's turn back a little bit. And during your time with the Associated Students, you've been really involved on campus, but also at the state level,
right?
Doing different things. What are some of the accomplishments that you are particularly proud of? Yeah,
first of all, that's a great question. And it's unique because our Cypress College student government has not done too much on the state level. And the reason for that is because we go to the Student Senate of California Community Colleges, which is our state level student body, and we ask them to advocate on our behalfs. The reason why we chose to make an effort to do things on our own accord and work with the state is because we felt like they have so much on their plates already dealing with 114 community colleges. And we want to do things that we can do ourselves, right? Without needing someone else's support. So huge thanks and shout out to Cassie Nguyen, our next year's Associated Students President-elect. She's the one who actually set us up with this opportunity to go to the state level and address our legislators with the Assembly Elections Committee on how we can increase representation with our youth populations here in Orange County and California as a whole. So she met up with a group called OC Action at I think it was a Assemblywoman's district building opening in La Palma. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about. But there was like a legislator that, you may not have been here actually the first semester. That's right.
I came in January, so I wasn't able to attend that.
So she had a building opening in La Palma, and a couple of our AS members went out to the event, and they met with some legislators. And Cassie, that's where she met OC Action, which is a interest group that is advocating for a bill a bill called SB 299, Senate Bill 299, which makes it so Californians would be automatically registered to vote once they get their driver's license at the DMV. At the same time, they'll also be registered for their party, depending on what preference they select. And the point of that bill is a lot of other states have a automatic voter registration system. And it's proven to increase voter turnout numbers. And that's something that we need here, especially for our youth populations. So we were able to go out to Sacramento, sponsored by OC Action and the California Grassroots Democracy Coalition, to go speak to our legislators and tell them, hey, this is a bill that we support. It's a bill that we think we need for all Californians. And I guess why am I interested in civic engagement? Because that's a topic that's come up multiple times throughout this podcast. My first time voting, I was super excited to vote. Obviously, I was 18 at the time, and I came to our on-campus voting booth. I believe it was for the 2021 local elections. And I went to the building, very excited to vote, and I gave them my ID, and I was prepared. I made a list in my head of everyone who I wanted to vote for already because I did my research beforehand. But they denied me from voting, and the reason why is because I didn't register to vote. And it sounds like a very simple thing, but like I mentioned earlier, my parents are immigrant parents from India, and they don't know a lot of things that work, at least here in the United States, and that includes registration. It's not something that they taught me to do. They do vote, but they never taught me that you need to register. And it may seem like something very trivial. It may seem like something that's very obvious, but to me, it wasn't obvious. So my experience going into vote, being excited to vote, but not being able to, kind of showed me and made me realize that a lot of people our age are not very well informed about our politics. And there's many different reasons. There's a lot to get into when it comes to why the youth aren't as engaged. But one thing a lot of our youth groups cite as why they don't vote or register to vote is because they don't believe that their voice matters, right? But it's a bit of a fallacy, and it's also a bit of a paradox. Right. And the reason why is because the reason why they feel like their voices don't matter as much is because it's true in a lot of ways, right? At least the way that politics works, no matter where you are, is you will do things and help the groups that actually help you get into power, right? So if our youth populations are not voting or don't even have much of a say in our elections, then why would politicians do things to help our youth groups, right? So it's definitely a paradox situation where if we do go out and vote, then they will listen to us. Yes. But because we're not voting, they're not listening to us. Yeah. So that's something that I hope that people that are listening, and that's something that I hope I can advocate for in my future.
No, that's a great point, right? Yeah. Our elected officials have constituencies who vote for them, and with the vote, they would like to see them advocate on these initiatives that are beneficial to the constituents. And so just hearing your story and how you were ready to vote and there was a step you weren't aware of, and then now taking action to help others to make sure they don't make the same mistake, and now expand access to registration to vote so that their voices can be heard.
Definitely.
So that I think that is a great, right? You learned a lesson and you followed through. And, it's that thread of persistence, right? You learn something, you do something. Yeah. And so I think that's another great attribute, right? Where these things that you're sharing are really important. Another shout out. Any other shout outs to people here at Cypress? I know you mentioned the incoming AS president. Anyone else you want to say, hey, thank you, or shout them out?
I mean, there's been so many people that have been contributing to my success, whether it be like achievements or just personal growth. But a couple shout outs I have to give Dave and Jay from Student Life, and my two professors that have been really that have helped me throughout my entire application process for transfer admissions, but also through like SLSI, Professor Gloria Badal, Political Science, and Professor Melanie Nabahani from English. And then obviously you, Dr. Thayer, big shout out to you. I know a lot of your work doesn't go unnoticed by our students. I can tell you that for sure. So we very much appreciate that you listen to our voices. And same with Dr. Schilling, have to give her a shout out. She was here for fall semester. So you two, big shout out. And then big shout out to Dr. DeDios as well. He's been here throughout this entire year. And I know he also helped you a little bit out with the transition process into coming to Cypress College. But Dr. DeDios has been amazing in every right.
No, that's good. I mean, you've done a great contribution as president and beforehand, and it is nice to be able to acknowledge folks who've been supportive along the way. You got to do that. So just kind of, we're getting close to the end, but as we close out, I'm wondering what the motto, "We take this journey together," means to you.
That's a great question. I would say the first thing that comes to mind, and what actually I guess I've experienced at Cypress, is it means you're not alone. That's like the best way to describe it. And that's something that I've experienced my entire time at Cypress College from the day I came to Cypress College for the first time for Charger Friday. Having those counselors help me register to register at Cypress College, having them let me know the deadlines for when to register for classes. Also, huge shout out to the student body, the student life building and their help for all students, not just me, but for all students. When you walk into the student life building, which is the main building that students really go to for advice on many different things like Octa bus pass or basic needs, whatever it may be. Right. They have an open door policy there. If you haven't, I'm sure you've noticed. Yeah. Yes. And that policy is just so welcoming because you go into the room and you see a lounge where a bunch of students are sitting, enjoying their lunch, their free lunch. Shout out to Cypress.
Right. The free lunch program, the food pass. Charger food pass program.
Yeah. So you can see all the students that are just having fun there, and you can see them being very comfortable. And we have Dave and Jay there who are always there to answer questions. And also it's been really big for having student workers recently being added to the roster of the student life area. Those students, even though the student workers, have also been very transformative in a lot of our students' experiences at Cypress College. So going back to we take this journey together, like I even mentioned before, like there's so many people that have helped me through Cypress College and so many people that I wish I could give a shout out to, but it's hard to keep track. So I believe that's truly what the meaning of the motto, we take this journey to get together at Cypress. And I know for any students that are coming in for this year, I always tell them you will have help and you will have someone to guide you through your journey at community college and beyond as well. So
yeah, no, really creating that sense of belonging.
Definitely, yeah.
You know, it sounds like you have found your spot.
Yeah,
you know, it's been really exciting to just hear, you know, how you got involved with the Associated Students. Just the whole idea that you identified something as a challenge based upon a personal experience, right? Going to register and then that not working out, and then taking an action to help others. I think that is critically important. Yeah. You know, you mentioned making sure that the youth, or you know, the generation, is it Z? Yeah, is engaged, right? And so make it easier by registering, advocating, and seeing these results. So we are in good hands. Yeah. So thank you.
And I'll definitely come back to Cypress too. I mean, like, I've gotten so much support, and I want to be able to support other students as well, whether that be making a transfer guide for future students or helping AS in whatever capacity I can for even after I transfer. I really hope I can still help the way that people help me here at Cypress. In the future.
Well, we look forward to having you back. Thank you for joining us today, Arjun.
Thank you for having me.
And the best to you at Stanford this summer.
Thank you.
And in the fall, wherever you decide to attend.
You got it. You'll know soon.
Yes. All right. Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
My thanks to today's guest, Arjun Ayyappan. That will do it for episode number 1 of the Cypress College Campus Podcast. We will be back again next month. Thanks for joining us.